There's going to be some kid that's going to come back and they're going to work for your department and we're going to be hearing this story.
I think we should.
I know, right? Welcome to Live from LA County podcast. Today, I am so happy to have one of our awesome department heads, Norma Edith Garcia-González. And today we are going to have the opportunity to talk to Norma and engage in a dialogue about her department, about her, about some of the great work that she's done, that she plans on doing, and how she got to where she is. So, before we get started, let me just give you a couple of facts, right? So today we're going to be talking to Norma, and if you didn't know this, Norma is the very first woman and person of color to lead our county Department of Parks and Recreation. She oversees more than 180 parks, or oversees more than 180 parks, over 70,000 acres of land, and she manages an annual budget of approximately $256 million. Norma is redefining what it means to serve with parks as tools for equity, environmental stewardship, and neighborhood vitality. From the pandemic response to data-driven climate resilience and community-led design, this conversation is really going to reveal how the Parks and Recreation Department of LA County plays a key role in what we do.
Absolutely.
So welcome, Norma, to our little podcast, and our hope that we can give our employees, the public, just a little bit more light into what you do and how you do it.
Thank you so much, Rodney, for having me here. Thank you for preparing the beautiful environment. And I'm always so excited to talk about parks and the purposeful work that the county and county employees of the LA County Parks Department do every day to support families, children, and seniors.
So let me, there's something that we do for every guest that comes in here.
Okay.
And I've heard a bit of your story, but this is one of the first things, and I've talked to some folks about the podcast, and they're loving this first question, loving it.
I'm nervous.
No, don't be, because this is about where you are and who you're serving. What's your LA story?
Great question. My LA story. I am a daughter of immigrants, first generation, first in my family. My father had a third grade education. My father was a farm worker and loved and had a green thumb, magical thumbs. Everything that he touched was green.
Awesome.
And he had incredible knowledge about the environment and passed away a couple years ago. And I just want to say, one of the things that I found was a petition that he signed to make sure the river in his town was not contaminated. So I talk about being a daughter of immigrants. I talk about, being a farm worker's daughter. But my father cared about the environment.
Yes.
And I value that much more today. But my LA story, I grew up in the San Gabriel Valley. And my first job was a federal, at that time, low-income communities, provided funding to park and recreation departments, to libraries, to public service, for public service to engage youth in career exploration.
Yes.
So my first job was an at-risk youth job working at a local park. I used to wear a net. I used to wear plastic gloves, and I used to deliver a summer lunch program.
Wow. Full circle, right?
That's right.
Yeah, you go from serving individuals their lunch, wearing that hairnet,
That's
of
right.
course, right? To then serving the entire county as the department head, right? That really is amazing. And I think for a lot of our employees, it really speaks to like what they could possibly do. You put
Absolutely.
your mind to it, right? And there's so many of these stories that we've heard from our department heads where, they were just an analyst,
Hmm.
just we know a clerk who's become department head, right? So let me ask you some questions about your department. How does your department play a vital role in the lives of our 10 million residents?
LA County Parks touches the lives of families so often. And just a stat, we have 50 million visits, 50 million visits to our park system annually. And we serve as the municipal park and recreation organization for the unincorporated areas, over 1 million residents. So if you think about it, we'd be the fifth largest park and recreation department just serving unincorporated areas in the state. But we also deliver the park and recreation regional services for all 10 million residents of
Mhm.
LA County. And our facilities, like the Arboretum, like Descanso Gardens, like the Hollywood Bowl, like our municipal golf course system, is also a place where visitors that come to visit Los Angeles, chances are they'll go to a concert,
Yes.
they'll play golf,
Hmm.
360 days out of the year where they can't do it throughout in any other part of the country, or they may just walk in a garden during December. And so we play a vital role. I think for me, also, the key role is that, I used to kind of not like the idea when people said, you're the Department of Fun. We're also the Department of Impact and Purpose, providing safety net services to people in Los
Yes.
Angeles who need them the most.
Yeah. Let's talk about that safety net, right? I recall the role you all played during COVID. I am aware of the role that you all played during the wildfires. Talk to us and our audience about some of those things where you all showed up in a different way than people could ever imagine that Parks is there for them for.
At a time during COVID when uh, people couldn't be in the workplace, couldn't go to school, we forget that there's a significant population where 10 people may live in a two-bedroom apartment, where children who, maybe four or five children in a bedroom who had to do online learning,
Mhm.
couldn't be in one bedroom. We early on also realized that there was a population that were the first responders providing services and working in Los Angeles County. We became the department that early on recognized that that child needed a safe place in their park
Yeah.
to do online schooling. We realized that that parent needed the caretaking of their children while facilities or schools were closed.
Mhm.
We became that safety net. We also became that support for our senior population who were socially isolated. I went to a park, Lawrence Firestone, where the senior center was closed,
Yeah.
and there was over 30 seniors hanging out outside, socially distancing because they just needed to connect to each other. They knew that was good for their emotional well-being. So we rolled up our sleeves, and I think that is what's so incredible about the workforce of LA County Parks. We roll up our sleeves and we do what it takes to support a community.
Yeah.
It may not look the same as yesterday because today they need this, and we're there. Um, but we closed down streets
Yeah.
in our highest need community so that kids would walk, ride their bikes. So I'm
Yeah.
super proud of what the
I
work we
I
do.
I recall one other, and I promise you, your team will be rewarded by angels and trumpets for what you all did during the wildfire,
Yeah,
and I was so proud.
yeah,
You all showed up and provided day camps for the kids of Altadena.
yeah,
And I was so impressed. We had centers that we put together where we brought folks in and we asked them, what do you need? And that was one of the biggest things. And before we even shared with you what the need was, you all had already thought through it and had provided that. Talk to us about that, and what you provided for the kids and youth of Altadena who lost their community, lost their schools, lost their homes.
And Rodney, you know that our LA County workforce is located and lives and is integrated in many of our communities. Many of our workforce is in Altadena. So the night of the fire when it broke out, one of our parks was supposed to serve as a staging area for our first responders. And within hours, the flames had engulfed that park. That night, we knew that almost all of our parks in Altadena had significant damage. And we started to hear the stories of both our workforce and folks that have lost their home. And specifically, we were hearing, you know, on the spot, like life moments. We heard from parents, our children have lost their homes, they lost their friends in their neighborhood, and lost their schools. And what are we going to do? Many of us who've been around for a long time, I remember taking some time off and going to Katrina. And I remember how that was very impressionable. Like, we need to show up for children because children will live with the trauma
Yes.
of this for a long time. By Thursday, we called an emergency meeting with our management team. By Friday, we were already ordering supplies. We called out a volunteer notice to our LA County Park staff who would like to work at these care camps. We had, by that evening on Saturday, we had over 100 staff say, I'm volunteering.
That's how we show up.
That's how we show up.
Absolutely.
And it was just organic,
Yeah.
and it's just about showing up
Yeah. Yeah.
and listening and being relevant to what the need is.
Why I started the way I did is because I truly believe not only are those youth going to remember
Yeah.
the traumatic experience of the wildfires and the losses, but they're going to remember what you did, right? And they're going to take that. And there's going to be some kid that's going to come
Oh,
back
yeah.
and they're going to work for your department, and that we're going to be hearing this
That
story.
gives me chills.
I know, right? And we're going to be hearing this story in some new iteration of the county about a kid who was impacted by what your department did.
That's
I
right.
can't wait. I can't wait. So you talked about volunteers, and you talked about it from the perspective of your employees and your employees who are willing to shift from what they're used to and what they normally do to helping out when needed. You also have about 2,600 you have 2,600 employees and over 6,000 registered volunteers who
That's right.
also show up for your department. So this isn't only about your employees showing up, but apparently the community is willing to show up and help when called upon. Talk to us about that program and how members of the public or even some of our county employees who want to volunteer their time with your department and have an impact. How they do that? What is it that you use your volunteers for? Talk to us about that.
Our volunteers are the lifeline of LA
Mm.
County Parks.
Okay.
We couldn't maintain the amount of parkland without their support.
Yes.
Every day, we have hundreds of volunteers, and they could be weeding, they could be leading docent guiding hikes, they could be volunteering, nurturing. We just opened our Raptor Rescue Center, and our Raptor Rescue Center is made up of mostly volunteers, folks that have retired that want to nurture back raptors that have been hurt. We care for them in Valley County Park, and then we
Yes.
release them into the wild. We have docents that are helping to preserve very specialized plant life in our arboretums. And just to give you an example, when Australia had fires, the LA County Arboretum had seeds that we were able to give back to them to
Wow.
replant in their ecological restoration.
Hmm.
And we have, and then at our local parks, You have parents. I grew up at a time where parents used to work 8 to 5. And then you'd go to the baseball field, and the parents were the coach, were the
Yes.
umpire. The service and retail, demands and have caused a shift in regards to those coaches. So, in some of our highest need communities, we know the significant burden
Yeah.
that parents have and need to work 2 or 3 jobs. So, we need that coach who's going to be that mentor to that youth to be that basketball coach. We need that volunteer to be that math tutor.
Yes.
We provide a free after school program at 59 parks to make sure that we provide children safe places after school. Those programs could not happen without volunteers. So we have the gamut of volunteer opportunities that are very meaningful,
Yes.
and we work with anyone's schedule, anytime, with whatever they want to do at our parks.
Understood. Understood. Hey, folks, look, this is an opportunity, right?
That's
And
right.
I know what our LA County employees and I know what our LA County community does, right? We also show up. So I love
That's
the
right.
fact that there's another opportunity here. We've heard it from some of our other departments as well that there are opportunities to volunteer. We have DHR, a mentorship program
That's
where
great.
we connect our employees with the mentorship opportunities with nonprofits that help kids and youth. So if you want to be involved, if you need to be involved, because many of us, it is a yearning, like we
That's
need to
right.
be involved and we need to help.
That's right.
It's there waiting on you. It really is there
That's
waiting on
right.
you. So your department, how is your department utilizing data and like resources and tools and maybe even AI, right? To look differently at how you all are working and the work that you're doing. Is there any innovative things that you all have on the horizon or that you've already done and we just don't know about it that you can talk about?
So I love technology. 3 years ago, we hired our first CIO in the department, and he's got a significant workload, only
Mhm.
3 years in. Um, but I'll tell you something really cool. We had an all-staff training, and the trainer was an AI character.
Okay.
And not that they'll take our jobs, Rodney, because
Well,
live folks, but it was awesome just to see dynamic AI being used in training staff
wow.
and being able to develop training modules in a matter of minutes once a script was written. And so, I have to say the AI trainer got, 5, thumbs up.
Yeah.
But I'll also, we're using technology to help, help provide data in regards to where the resources are needed the most. Um, we utilize data to understand and do asset mapping. So we understand, for example, we're starting a free music program in partnership with LA Phil.
Wow.
So we utilized asset mapping to locate parks where there isn't music infrastructure provided in the community,
Interesting.
and we're choosing that park, our high need areas,
Yes.
so that they get the resources because they don't exist. We're using data as well as to get feedback. We have a Qualtrics survey. So if you take a class at LA County Parks, we're hearing directly from the user information, and that helps to improve the quality of our service. So we're using AI technology.
Yeah.
We're tracking our animals that we release in the wild. I talking about our animal ambassadors. So if we rescue an owl and we nurture it and we release it, guess what? We get to track it.
You're tracking its life.
So technology is it, and we're so excited that we get to utilize technology to support the work we do.
Wow. I know as director, you must be aware of so many resources and things that your department does, the resources that it has. And so maybe you can share with our audience, if you have a couple,
Okay.
right? Because I don't want to put you on the spot, but talk to us about any unique things that you would recommend that your department manages has that you would say, hey, look, if I was putting together a list for LA County employees or for someone listening that you have to go see, that maybe it's a little out of the way or it's quirky, that you would recommend, what would that be?
Okay, so
Oh, she has
I
some. I
do.
love it.
And Friday, I'm going to our family camping. I'm taking my children, and I'll be camping at Benelli. If you haven't taken advantage of our urban family camping program, we have every Friday you can camp overnight, so you don't have to haul all the stuff that you do in a weekend or week-long
Yeah.
camping. You can go fishing,
Hmm.
you can go swimming in our swim lake,
Yes.
you can go hiking, you can go biking, and you can sleep under the stars at one of our regional parks and probably travel 30 minutes to get there at the most. That is my ultimate favorite to do. Another thing is that the Hollywood Bowl Access Program provides $1 tickets to the Hollywood Bowl. So accessible to everybody. So I've just told all of you you can get $1 tickets. And I'll,
How? How do I get my $1 ticket?
okay, you just go to the LA Phil website
Okay.
and there's the $1 tickets. You click, they provide $1 tickets for almost all of the concerts. So I'm giving you the inside scoop.
Okay.
Another inside scoop is we've got hundreds of miles of trails.
Yes.
So you go to trails.lacounty.gov. You put your address and it'll show you where are the trails in your neighborhood. It will show you what you're going to experience, the elevation,
Yes.
the flora and fauna, and the weather. We have some awesome trails in LA
Indeed.
County.
Indeed.
So those are the things that
Awesome.
I would share.
I love it. I love it. Those were some nuggets. Those were some real nuggets. So I hope well, look, even if our audience doesn't take advantage of it, I will guarantee you tonight I will be on the Phil website and I will be getting my dollar ticket
Good,
because
good.
it is Duda Mall's last season. For those of you who may
That's
not
right.
know this, so it's an opportunity to see a master at work,
That's right.
right? All right. So let me ask you about, in light of the work that you do, in light of the impact that you have, right? Right now, there are limited resources. We know that we're being impacted, and our employees have lots of questions about it. I get it, but I want for a second you to dream, right? So dream with me for a second and think through if money wasn't an obstacle, and together you and I were able to
Okay,
get in front of our CEO, Fezia Davenport, who we hope to have in these chairs at some point.
good.
And she said, whatever you want, Norma, what would you want to build, to do, and bring to reality if money wasn't an issue?
Great question, Rodney. I will say that we developed the park needs assessment. We mapped out every neighborhood in Los Angeles County, and we have dreamed and have put it out in the universe
Yeah.
that every child, regardless of race, color, income, geography, deserves to have a park in their community where they could walk to. So if I had an endless amount of money, what I would do is, and that plan is in motion.
Yes.
And I can talk about how we're putting that plan is in motion, but I would fast track that plan because that plan would ensure that every neighborhood would have trees,
Nice.
that every neighborhood would have a playground so that kids would socialize and connect with each other. It would provide people an outlet for respite, social well being. It would provide a place where teenagers can get jobs like I did
Yes.
and provide seniors the opportunity to socially connect. I think we'd be a better society if we connected more and parks, other places to do that. So the dream is big.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
every kid should have a park in walking distance.
So the reality is, your dream is one that will happen. It's just a matter of how long it's going to
That's
take for
right.
us to realize it.
That's right.
I love it. I love it. You already have it on track. You already know what the dream is. I recall, because as you're talking about that, I recall my background was actually started at the city of LA. And my background, I was responsible for the Arts, Health, and Humanities
Mm.
Committee for the city of Los Angeles. And I worked with Rita Walters.
Oh,
And Rita, I know,
yeah.
God bless her soul,
Yeah.
we went, we took a van, drove through the ninth district in the community, including downtown
Hmm.
Los Angeles, and we looked at every single lot.
That's right.
We looked at and we did an assessment of like where can we build because
Mm.
we knew the value of green space and we knew what it does for a community. Everything from the health
That's
benefits,
right.
right, to the social benefits and even the economic
Hmm.
benefits
Hmm.
because though you see where people are buying homes
That's
and
right.
all of that. And so I really, really do appreciate what you all are doing and how thoughtful you are in the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
So, but to get there, it takes a true leader, right? And the reason why you're in this seat is because that's what we consider you.
Mm.
We consider you honestly one of our best and brightest. And I have so much respect for our department heads because the the breadth of what you all have to address and deal with is unlike anything anywhere else in this nation. Nowhere else in
True.
this nation do we have this many residents, this much parkland, and this many people to ensure that they have
That's right.
access and have resources, right?
That's right.
As a leader, talk to us about your leadership style and how you lead your department, and how you intend to how you carry out your achieving your goals and working with your staff.
Um, that's interesting. You know, I believe that my legacy, and I think the greatest accomplishment that I can make is by making sure that if I leave, the work of this department will continue. That it's in it's in our DNA, it's in the people we hire, it's in the output we produce, and it's how we engage with community. And I'm really grateful that we are hiring and we're promoting from within
Mhm.
significantly um, people who are invested in the county. But as a leader, I think my responsibility is to put the vision out there, to be unapologetic about what we haven't done to serve all residents of Los Angeles,
Yes.
to be very honest about where we haven't served them, and to say this is where we need to go.
Yeah.
And and to do it in a way where we engage data. We we have our studies. We train to that, and we develop policy to help support that. So for me, every time we build a park, we're opening another park in the second district in a part of town that has no parks. Um, we opened a park in unincorporated Carson, the first park in unincorporated Carson. We opened the first park, Nogales Park, the first park in unincorporated Walnut Park. It's my responsibility also is to provide hope and vision that if we set our mind to it, we can accomplish that. Because I think our staff, county staff, need to see that that vision is real and that they're part of that.
Mhm.
So set the vision,
Yes.
not deviate from that vision,
Understood.
build the team,
Yes.
build the systems,
Okay.
and create the policies. And then keep the eye on the North Star, even in times like these where times are difficult. We can't we can't lose track of what we have a responsibility to do for the residents and the children of LA County.
Yeah. And I know I've some of your staff, they used to work for DHR, they've gone to your department,
Yeah,
or we've just had relationships
yeah,
over the many years that I've been at the county. and I know that they buy in, right? And so it is important that folks buy into the vision,
That's right.
and then that helps the execution. Because when I think about your workforce, they've bought in. They get the bigger picture. So let me ask you a couple other questions. So I want to know upcoming, some of the goals that you have set that you're looking forward to in, let's say, the next year or two. We'll be doing our map goals soon, or we will have just finished our map goals, and you're going to be setting new goals for the upcoming year. What are you thinking about um, working on in the next year, short term?
Okay, short term. Well, I just have to go back to Altadena.
Okay.
All the parks in Altadena were burned and had significant damage. We worked significantly with the private sector to bring back one of the parks, which is now the center of safety services for Altadena. Our senior center, programming childcare for youth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I am working, and my team and I are working very closely with Supervisor Barger, with the Altadena community, almost every organization, um, to one by one assemble the funding in the lasagna fashion, to bring back our parks. Because if families are going to envision and do the hard work of rebuilding,
Yes.
it's easier to cut your losses and go start. It's harder to say, we're going to rebuild and we're going to go to a 2 to 3 year process. They need to envision their children growing up in that community again. They need to envision themselves walking. They need to envision themselves engaging with neighbors.
Yes.
And if we can help restore their parks and provide that sign of hope, we hope that folks will then invest the time, we'll say we're going to rebuild. And we're, those that were on the fence, because we know a lot of folks are already rebuilding. So I will just say that's in the horizon. And I'm very excited that I think we're going to get another park rebuilt in this next year.
Perfect. Great.
Um, the federal cuts are going to be devastating to poor children of color. And so my team and I need to double down on supporting working families and supporting children. And we've been, I talked about having 59 after school childcare programs. We are going to double down on making sure that every one of those programs, we have homework centers,
Yes.
we have tutoring, we have enrichment, um, so that families can work, have a safe place for their children. And because a lot of the funding that funds childcare and after school services, um, is going away.
Will be cut. Yes.
So that's an immediate. And then on the third part, I kept talking. We have to keep thinking of our North Star, um, the policies in place to continue.
Mhm.
There is state funding. We're going to be looking out for grants to continue our acquisition program and our restoration program of our park system. And then the last thing is deepening our partnerships with philanthropy in the private sector. In times where government will, needs to make really tough choices about the services it provides,
Yes.
we can't be afraid of asking for help. And I've realized that my role as a leader right now is to go ask for help because our children and our families need that help in their parks. So that's on my horizon this year.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. That was the hard part, folks, right? That was the part of our show where we try to get an understanding, and I want to thank you for that. Now we're gonna play a little game,
Okay.
and I know you like games, right? Because you're the parks
I'm
person, you're the fun person,
specific.
right? So we're gonna play a little game. This is our lightning round, and we have played this with some folks, so we're interested in what comes to mind first for
Okay.
you. All right.
All right.
So, favorite outdoor activity?
Picnicking.
Biggest influences or mentor growing up?
Oh, Emily Ishigaki, who was the park and recreation director that hired me.
Interesting. So, what was it? See, now I'm going to just pause for a second because when you think about her and you think about that impact, what was it? For our supervisors, managers, folks who get the opportunity to bring someone in, what was it?
This woman was bold, courageous, and she'd start meetings by saying, "Our children deserve the very, very best. Our children deserve the very best." She never called it equity, probably didn't even have an understanding of that term.
Mhm.
But what she said is, Black and brown children who are poor deserve to have the same resources as other children. And at the age of 16, with this powerful voice, who basically I felt she saw me. That was forever for me, like that light bulb. But yeah, that's her.
Awesome, awesome. If you weren't doing this job, what would you be doing?
Hmm. Oof. So I would probably be an educator.
Okay. Aren't you? You're a planner, right?
I am.
And when I read that earlier, when I talked about being the first, right? Being the first person of color, being the first woman
Hmm.
to run this department. This department existed in the 1800s, right?
Since the 1940s, but
1940s.
in the
But it was
1800s,
another,
it merged.
yes,
So yes, it's been around for a long
for
time.
a very long time, and you were the first.
The first.
And so here you are breaking norms as a planner, right? At least my understanding of kind of that field, it is also a male dominated area,
Correct.
and you broke into that. Tell me about
Correct.
like that, and you being a planner and taking on that challenge.
Well, I will say to you that I think I have a pretty tough skin because almost in every position, I was the only woman for a long time as a deputy director in parks until Debbie Martin came, and then
Remember
she
Debbie?
was Debbie, and then we were two females. But I will just say that I've had to hold my own in every aspect. As a planner, it's a very the the planning work was very technical, but it wasn't until I owned my story about my lived experience that I realized that you can merge technical knowledge, obviously a strong base of education. I'm a Bruin,
Go Bruins!
double Bruin. So had to work hard on the education piece.
Yes.
Um, know my stuff on the technical stuff. On the, but then my lived experience was that cherry on top. And when I owned that, I think that gave me the confidence to be able to sit in a room and
Yes.
have a voice because planning is about understanding the physical form, but the social form as
Yeah.
well and community. Um, and that was the magic sauce.
Excellent. Excellent. What motivates you?
You know what motivates me? I uh, I come from a family of hard workers. Like my father never took it. My both my parents never took a day off in their life. Working, it's almost an inherent like responsibility. My parents instilled the belief that we are here for a purpose, and there's a greater purpose. And so my motivation is that, as cliche as this is, it's my responsibility um, to leave whatever I'm doing in a better place, and to also remember that the next generation behind me is going to go and soar on my shoulders. So that is also the responsibility that I carry, that I'm also setting that path for that next generation.
Yeah, yeah. What's in rotation for you, song wise, or television show wise, or maybe you can't wait to see a play? What do you? What's your entertainment?
My entertainment is I love disco. I
What?
love disco.
Okay.
I was at the music center and I was like, I
Oh, you
hope no
went.
one sees me, but that was my self-care.
Okay.
That was my self-care. Um, if I'm not on a conference call as I'm driving in the car,
Yes.
my music is blasting high. I just have to make sure that it's blasting high. That's all I have to
Yeah,
say.
we got you. We got you. We got
But
you.
if I can watch, if I can watch The Gilded Age, I'm
Hmm.
enjoying it right now. Don't watch a lot of television, but I love to go out and I love to spend time with my children as well.
What's something that people would be surprised to know about you?
Mm, that's a great question. Uh, that what you see is what you get.
Okay.
And I'm a gardener, so maybe, oh, I do take showers every day, but if you look closely at my nails, there's
Yeah.
always dirt.
Okay.
And I'll end up doing this all day because I start my day gardening and I end my day gardening.
Of the earth, of the earth. I wouldn't expect less. Knowing kind of your field and your department, I love it. I love it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Let me see if there are any other questions for our. There is one other question, but I think you hit it. But let's see if there's something else, and that is, um, past or present, who's been your biggest cheerleader?
Hmm. I talk about my parents a lot.
I know. So I wasn't
Lucky, lucky gal,
okay.
lucky gal. My
Right.
parents always in that front row.
All right. Very nice. All right. So that was our lightning round. I did kind of do a little bit of a detour, but don't, hey, hey. When
Your
I hear something,
prerogative.
right? When I hear something, I got to just go there with it. So I have a few just closing questions as we kind of end today's conversation with Norma. Um, and I think what I want to leave folks with is, and it's not just our current county employees, but we know that there are going to be individuals who stumble upon our podcast and they're going to learn a bit more about our county and about the wonderful people in it. And so, what what has it meant working for the county for you? Like you've been able to grow to its highest peak, and what has it meant for you?
Um, what it meant to me is I have the opportunity to make an impact. And never in my wildest dreams did I imagine myself in a leadership position.
Mm.
Um, and the county gave me that opportunity. It gave me the opportunity, and which is why I'm deeply grateful. I don't take this position for granted. It's a deep responsibility. And for those that are listening, that's what's so incredible about the county. If you hear the stories of our directors,
Yes,
they're not like, of course, they're rock stars, but many started, at an entry level job
yes.
and worked hard and and um, and have the ability to lead these departments. And so I'm deeply grateful for that opportunity. Every opportunity that I've had, and I'll just say one more, but every opportunity that I had a strong mentor and supporter. John Wicker,
Hmm. Remember
when
John?
was the director,
Awesome.
he called me and said, Norma, you should apply for this
Yeah.
position. Someone always tapped me and said, you should put yourself out there.
Even when you didn't see it.
No,
Even when you
no,
didn't see it.
and said, do it. And so we also have that responsibility to
Yes.
help, you know, when people can't see it, to say, you can do
Or
this.
afraid of it.
Afraid of, that's right,
Or if
that's
you're
right,
afraid
that's
of
right.
like where you should go and what you should do. Yeah. you need that person to give you
Always.
that little nudge.
And so we have that responsibility to
Mm,
do that for others.
I like it. I like it. So I'm gonna close out with this question, and it's your opportunity to look in that camera and give, our county employees who'll be listening, our, members of the public that may be listening, as one of our leaders, and someone who is clearly a leader. um, what piece of advice would you give them about leadership and about growing in whatever way they grow into leadership?
Um, my advice to the workforce, and I talk a lot to my staff about making sure that reach out to a mentor. Don't be not afraid to ask any questions. I actually really appreciate when I'm in the hall and someone says, Norma, how do you feel about? I actually will take the time and stand there because that for me shows that they're interested in growth. But prepare yourselves. We live in a very complex environment and community and society. And the last bit, and I always say this, our personal stories are so critical, our lived experiences. And we need those stories. We need that lived experience to help shape really complex answers and solutions. So make sure you're prepared. Reach out to someone in your department, someone else, ask them questions, engage. Um, and then I talked about my magic sauce is own your story, and that story will help us solve so many. In our lived experience, helps us in times to solve so many issues that we are facing as a society.
Awesome. Well, Norma, thank you for your time.
Thank you,
LA
Rodney.
County, live from LA County podcast. Really appreciate you being
Thank
here.
you.
And Norma Garcia, we appreciate you
Oh,
and we
thank
love
you.
the work that you're doing. Keep it
Thank
up.
you.
Keep it
Thank
up.
you, Rodney.
All right.
Thank
Thank
you for
you.
your support.
Oh,
Thank
anytime.
you.
You know.